Hey guys, it's episode 26 of Create If Writing.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light.
Hey and welcome. It's me, your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and you are listening to the Create If Writing podcast, which is a podcast all about inspiration and authentic platform building tools for writers, bloggers, and other creative business type people. So this week, I'm not interviewing anyone, and it's probably going to be my last podcast for December, although I am recording some really neat ones that will be coming up in January. So you definitely want to subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss anything when I come back. But I definitely need a few weeks off after having a month of somebody being sick all the time in my household. I have basically 2 work days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, when all my kids are somewhere. And then I get a little bonus time on some Wednesday mornings. But with somebody being sick all month, I think I got 1 actual work day. So it's unbelievable to me that I got anything at all done. I definitely failed at NaNoWriMo, which was the National Novel Writing Month. And it just confirmed that I really, literally cannot do the kind of writing of fiction that I want to do when my kids are little. It's just not possible for me. So anyway, good lesson learned. I think it helped me to realize that I wasn't just making an excuse, that I really cannot do it, because every time I tried, the kids, somebody was sick or up or crying, it just didn't happen. And so anyway, that was kind of freeing to realize, even though I really want to write, and I actually have a great novel that I hope I can get done sometime, it's going to be a while. So that's what I learned last month. And this month, I'm going to have kids out of school for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And we have holidays and everything coming up. So I just know that I'm not going to be able to get the podcast done and recorded and edited in a way that's not thrown together. So we're going to take a few weeks off. But there's lots of big news coming up. So I want to make sure that you subscribe to my email, which I made a page for it to make it really easy for you guys to find it. So if you just go to createifwriting.com/subscribe, you can sign up very easily, and that'll sign you up for the quick fix, which is my weekly list of curated links that usually goes out on a Wednesday. But that will also get you info, because I definitely let those people know first if I have something new and exciting going on. And I do have something new and exciting. I may share a little more at the end. I can't decide. I'm debating if I want to keep it a full secret or let you know a little teaser there. So keep listening to see what I decide over the course of the episode. I like to roll spontaneously like that. So okay, so you definitely want to subscribe, because I won't be here on the podcast talking about the exciting things coming up. I also wanted to encourage you to join the community for Create If Writing, and that's over at Facebook. And to make that an easy link as well, just to say over the podcast, it's createifwriting.com/community. And I'll talk a little bit about what it is we do over there, but it's got the link to the Facebook group. And so that's basically where we spend some time. Most days I pop in there and say at least something, whether I'm asking a question or sharing links. And there's certain days a week that we share things that we're doing, and nobody in there is really spammy. So I haven't had to crack down on don't self-promote. So I'm really encouraging of you guys to share with each other what you're doing. I love discussion. I love it when people ask questions and other people answer. It's kind of the one place where when you reach out, you're not just getting me, you're getting the other people, the other valuable opinions and thoughts from other writers and readers and bloggers. So it's a really nice space for you to hang out. And this month, we are talking about list growth. And I actually have a really cool download that I made that I'm giving to those people. And I'm also putting in the show notes, which are going to be at createifwriting.com/026. So you can get a download of 15 intensive list growth steps. And I'm going to talk through maybe a few of them. I'll touch on them a little bit today, but talk about list growth. But we're doing that together in the group. So that's really fun. And the first day we talked about forms, and there were so many questions and people popping in to give answers and helpful tips. And so anyway, definitely go to those 2 places, createifwriting.com/subscribe to get on the email list, and createifwriting.com/community so that you can hang out with us. And if you want your download, createifwriting.com/026. That's a lot of places to go. They always say a call to action should have one thing, but I have 3 things I need you to do. So I'll leave links to all the things in creativewriting.com/026, the show notes, so you can grab those. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the 15 intensive list growth steps, but it's really hard. I made 15 steps and there are so many more. I got to the end of the list and I was like, I could probably make 50 of them. But I know this month is December. And like I said, my kids are out of school for at least 2 weeks and other people will have that as well. And if you don't have kids, then you've got Christmas craziness, family coming into town, all kinds of things that are going to be flying out and hitting you in the face. So anyway, 15 sounded like a good number for this month. And they weren't all strategies about how to find subscribers, although there are some of those. But some of it was making sure that people can easily sign up for your list, dealing with your forms on the front end, which is like on the face of your blog and where you have that, and on the back end, which is making sure that you have all your forms customized. And I realized this week going through my own blog that when I switched to start using Leadpages, I thought I had customized all my forms, and I don't know, there was a glitch with Leadpages over the weekend, and so I'm not sure if things got lost or if I just got lazy, but I have a couple of places where my forms have not been customized, and it looks dumb. Like when you go find a subscribe box, whether that's a lead box or it's MailChimp or MadMimi, and people haven't changed the language, so it just says subscribe to our list. You know that somebody hasn't taken a lot of care, and for me, I am less inclined to actually sign up and enter my email because I'm thinking, well, they haven't actually taken the time to kind of figure this out and take the time to customize the things they can. Now, not everybody knows you can customize those things. So now you know if you didn't know that already, but almost every email service provider lets you customize to some degree all the forms involved in a sign up. And I will say for that MailChimp is definitely the winner. People are always asking me which email service provider to use, and I am definitely all about ConvertKit. I'm just a huge fan. And actually, I said last week we were doing a webinar with them, but we're actually going to be doing it next week on Tuesday, December 8th. And I'll put a sign up for that as well in the show notes. But they're going to walk us through all the features, which is really good because there are some that I'm like, I don't know how to do this yet. And here, because every email service provider is different. But I love ConvertKit. It has some fantastic tools that are just usually reserved for the more expensive, $100, $200 a month at a starting price email service providers. So ConvertKit is great, but MailChimp has some really neat features. And one of my favorite things about it is how much you can customize the sign-up process. You get with MailChimp like 6 or so areas to connect with people. And so if you're not utilizing those, you should be. And so again, we're talking about this in the Facebook group. I left a really cool video that I made that was actually a live training, maybe first live training that I did, which was getting the most out of MailChimp. So yeah, you should be customizing your form. So that's one of the things that we talk about. And even though that seems like a small thing, like how is that going to grow my list? Well, it's just important. It's those little things that matter to people when they're giving you an email list or when they're giving you their email. They're more likely to give you an email if it looks like you've got your stuff together. You know what I mean? Whereas if it looks sort of halfway done and just, like an afterthought, I kind of wonder, well, what kind of content am I going to get in there? Is email an afterthought? And that's really what I want to talk about today in this podcast episode. Not so much go through the 15 things because you're going to get your awesome sheet and I go through all of that in there. So again, get the download at creativewriting.com/026 so you can get your 15 intensive list growth steps. But I want to talk today about this sort of mindset that we have around our email lists. And Amy Porterfield had a really great episode recently about this, about a list building mindset. And I think that's she put into words what I'd already sort of been doing and seeing in my own life and in my own blog and business and all the things that I'm doing, is that a shift took place over the last year where I was focused before on page views. I was focused on getting more page views, getting up there. And I've told this story so many times in webinars and the podcast as well, but I finally got to what was like a goal for me, which was 100,000 page views a month on my personal blog, not creative writing, because that one's really new and I'm not getting that many page views there yet. But I was so excited to have worked hard and I had a post go viral and push me up. And everybody said, well, now once you're up there, it's just so much easier to stay there. Well, not if Pinterest changes its smart feed. And for whatever reason, I got dinged in Pinterest. And so my traffic got cut. I mean, I said 50%. It was more. I was looking at the numbers. It was more than 50%. And I was blogging a little bit less, but it actually had nothing to do with my current blogging because the posts that were getting me the most traffic from Pinterest were all older posts. And that kind of illustrates the problem as well. So if you're getting a lot of traffic from Pinterest, for example, and you have a lifestyle blog like I do, people might be coming to the posts that are not maybe your favorite posts. They're not your best posts. Maybe they're not the posts that are like the flagship that tell people what your blog is really about. So at my lifestyle blog, which is KirstenOliphant.com, I blog about food, about faith, about family. It's just kind of whatever. And I used to do a lot more sponsored posts than I do now, but I do work with a few brands exclusively. And you might show up on one day and I'm making cupcakes. And then the next day I'm talking about, God. And then the next day something else. And for my super fans, they love that about me. And that's why they're there. But for people coming in off the street, it's a little bit jarring. So if they don't click with me and my writing style, then they may leave, or they may think, oh, wow, this is a great blog about food. And they sign up for my email list and then they get a random email about something totally different, like what my kids did that morning. And they're confused. And so that makes it really hard, I think, for a lot of things. And I don't want to change it. Like that's intentional. I've made that choice. And so I was already choosing to do what I wanted over page views because I could have niched down and just done parenting or just done food and have my blog really take off. Because again, when I look at Pinterest, the posts that do well are sort of my how-tos, DIYs, the posts about food, essential oil recipes, roundups. But those are not the heart of my blog. Those are not my favorite posts, although some of the food posts are, I will say. And so when it got to page views, and getting that traffic from Pinterest, was I getting good traffic from Pinterest? Was I getting people that were going to stick around and subscribe to my blog and stay? Were they going to come back and be repeat readers? Well, maybe, maybe not. My bounce rate was pretty high, which is common for many people who have high traffic from Pinterest. And I feel like the people that were subscribing to my emails and really engaging were not the people coming over from Pinterest. They were coming over, making sure the link was to a real site and then leaving. So, and there's things that you can do to make your blog more sticky. And I've tried some of those. I never really saw a difference either way. So all that to say, page views used to be my focus, and I found that to be really frustrating because I may have gotten the page views, but I wasn't really getting good traffic. I wasn't getting the kind of traffic that built me a real audience that was lasting. So this year, when I started switching to a more list building mindset, and really I've put a lot of focus on the creative writing blog. And so I have not been doing a lot of list building for KirstenOliphant.com, only because I haven't been blogging a lot over there. Not as much as I have been in the past anyway. So when I started changing to a list building mindset, it was amazingly freeing to kind of let go of page views. Now, if you're making a ton of revenue from your ads, then you may not want to switch as extremely as I did in your mindset. But I want to argue for a list building mindset because if you're thinking about your email list as the backbone of your blog, of your writing, of your business and what you're doing, you're giving yourself a more permanent group of people who are going to be willing to support you. The people that give you their emails are the people that are willing to go that extra mile. As I've said before, it's easy to click follow on Twitter. It's easy to click like on Facebook. And in most cases, in those two anyway, you're not going to see a lot of stuff. The same thing with Pinterest. There's a smart feed. You could follow somebody on Pinterest and maybe you won't really ever see their pins. When it's email, you're going to get an email. And some people don't send as frequently as others, but when you give people that permission to email you, it's a little bit more personal. You're not limited by an algorithm. You're going to get an email every time that person sends, and you may not open, but it's going to come. It's going to go right to your inbox. So it's just a really different thing. And thinking about building that, I realized, if people come to my blog and leave, well, then I have a page view. If people come to my blog and then they subscribe to my email, then I have somebody who's going to stick around, somebody that's more lasting. And I definitely want to keep them there. So I want to put out good content in my emails. But that is a much more lasting thing than just a page view. So it's all about your mindset. And even if you're going for page views because you're doing that kind of ad revenue and that's the way you're building your business, that's fine too. But you want to make sure when those people come and you get those hits that you are giving them something to subscribe to. That's why they're coming. And so one of the things I talk about in the 15 intensive List Growth Steps, which is just too long of a name. I keep forgetting how to say it. But it's okay. It's not a course. It's just a free download for you. But one of the things I talk about is possibly having different lists set up. If you're like me and have a lifestyle blog that's a little bit crazy, then maybe you have an email sign up in your food posts, like embedded in your most popular food posts, that go to a specific list that's for food people. And maybe you have another sign up that's on your posts about your family that is specifically for people who are interested in hearing about what your kids are doing today, or how to be a better parent, or how to deal with the struggles as a mom. And you could have different freebies that you offer for each of those. And you could send more targeted emails to them. Maybe you don't send a weekly email. Maybe every now and then you send something to the parenting people. And every now and then you send something to the food people, like a meal plan or a recipe guide. Either way, the more targeted you can get, the better. And if you have a lot of page views and that's still going to be your focus, I want you to consider how you can harness those page views and actually keep those people around for the long term. And email is totally the way to do that. Not Twitter, not Facebook, not Pinterest, not even your Facebook group, even though I love my Facebook group. But you want to keep lasting readers and you want those people to subscribe. So I don't think it's a bad thing to think about page views and be working toward that goal, because I still would love to see all my page views increase and to get back to where I was before Pinterest killed me. But I don't want just page views. I want people who want to come back, who want to read my words, and not just people who think they do. So maybe I need to go back to those posts for me, and that's my actionable item for December, is that I need to go to my most popular posts and find a way to embed a form that signs people up to a list that's really specific. And maybe I'll just name it for that post, like the essential oils roundup post that I have that does really, really well. And for over a year has done really, really well. So maybe I need to sign up there that lets me know that's about people who are interested in essential oils. And if I ever have anything to say about that, which normally I don't, but maybe every now and then I do, that's where that's going to go. Or I can email them and ask them, hey, what do you want to hear from me? Do you just want to hear about essential oils? I also have this other cool newsletter over here. You are in control. And I think a lot of times we know we need to have an email list, so we set one up, but we don't go into any more detail. So that's what this month is about, is I want to help us cultivate this kind of list-focused mindset. And I don't like calling it, I don't like the list building kind of idea, because really what we're doing is we're building people, right? We're building an audience that's lasting. And so even though it's about growing your email list is made up of your biggest fans. It's your best audience. So let's head over to the Facebook group, and you can find it by going to creativewriting.com/community. And we're going to be doing this all month. Well, 15 days of it anyway. We're going to be talking about how we can grow our audience, how we can do things better on the back end to serve the front end, how we can be thinking about things differently so that we're concerned about and caring about our people and wanting to bring in real people that are going to be our followers and fans. Okay, so I've given you a lot of links. I'm going to give them to you again. But if you want to head to creativewriting.com/026, that's where you're going to find everything for today. You'll find a link to the Facebook group. You will find your free download. And I say free, but I'm going to ask for your email in exchange for it, because that's a great thing to do. So if you want also to subscribe to the quick fix, you can do that as well. creativewriting.com/subscribe. And okay, so I was debating about whether I was going to clue you in on a little bit of what I'm doing, but I'm hoping it happens this month, but if not, it's happening next month. I am going to be doing some updates to my email course, and I actually am changing the name altogether. It was How to Build an Authentic Email List, and that's just a mouthful, and that's really what it is, but I don't think that's the best name for it. And so I'm changing it to Own Your List, because the whole course is about owning your list. It's about not just having a list, but knowing what's happening at each step, being intentional with all the steps, going from the back end and the forms to the front end and monetization to the content, which email service provider, all those kinds of questions are being answered. How to segment your lists and do some of these more complicated things I'm talking about to better utilize your email list. So I'm changing the name to Own Your List, and I feel like when I launched the course, it just didn't have enough video. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to do some live training about your email list. And this is going to be kind of like, each one's going to be like a little mini masterclass on email. It's going to be one for each module of the course. And there's, I think, 6 modules. So it's going to be one for each. And these are going to be free for the people who've already purchased the course. And if you've not purchased the course, I'm going to sell them individually. So if you want to show up to the one on just monetization, for example, you can buy just a pass to see that one and get the replay forever. Okay, because I don't want to offer that for free because people have already paid for these courses. And if you want to buy a bundle of all the master classes, then you can get those. Now, for the people who have actually bought the whole course, they're getting a whole lot more. There's a lot more information. But if you just want some video training, this would be great for you. So I'm trying to figure out when this is going to happen. I really want it to be this month. But, again, I've already had sick kids this week and missed a whole day of work. So it's just really hard sometimes to see how my schedule is going to work. I'm also finishing up the Creative Profitability course that I'm doing with Angela England. And we sold that last week as a bundle with Creative Profitability, Own Your List, her Achieve Your Publishing Dreams course. And that was really awesome. And I'm so excited to have those of you who signed up for that because that's going to be fantastic. And so the Creative Profitability course is in pre-launch and we'll be launching that next month. So I've got all kinds of exciting, fun training things coming up just for you. So again, make sure you are subscribed to my email, creativewriting.com/subscribe, so you can hear about those things and the live video masterclasses and when Creative Profitability launches. And also, I'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast because again, I'm taking some time off and you're not going to know when I'm back unless you subscribe, and then you'll see it pop up in iTunes. Also, we're on Google Play now. So if you have been held back from listening because you don't have iOS, then you can listen on Google Play. So thank you again for listening. I love my readers. I hope we connect deeper either through email or the Facebook community or both. Head over to creativewriting.com/026 to get your free download. And I hope you have an inspired week.